Hello, guys. Good evening and welcome to this awesome session we are having today. It's a postponed session of yesterday, so we're live right now on YouTube, and we have Zonda Fotsing Kenneth. He is, I would say, the big name you should know if you are doing digital marketing in Cameroon. So just like you know of Neil Patel, you know of all the big guns, all the big names in whatever you're doing. If you're doing digital marketing and in Cameroon, in Africa, and you don't know Zonda Fotsing, then I don't know what you're doing. Honestly, I have no clue. I mean, I don't brag about him because I know him personally, but because of his amazing results. So we have him today, and he's going to be sharing with us how to actually bootstrap to a new career as a professional. And I hope you guys are ready for the session of today. We had an awesome time with Mr. Joybet today. It was great. It was an awesome session, and he shared with us a lot more, like so much that he shared with us today. And now we are having Zonda, who is live with us today, and I'm honestly looking forward to what he's going to be sharing with us. So please, Zonda, you just have to let me know if you're live. I mean, if you're ready, and I'm just going to bring you up. Like, I don't want to say much. Like, I want you to do the talking yourself. So just let me know if you're ready, and I'll bring you to the big screen so you can do your thing. So, okay, yes, he's ready. So let us have Zonda right now. Yeah, bro, you're live. You're live.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aline. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure having to collaborate with you on things like this. I'm always very, very available for talks to help other people with my experience and things like that. So it's not quite an easy journey, but um, event these forums like these and sessions like these give us the inspiration and the motivation to keep going. That even if no matter how hard it can get in front of the road, you know that there are people looking up to you that always have to keep your head above the waters because of them. So um, I am actually on this live session. I think this is I think the second live session I've done since the inception of digital. Um, I know my topic, but I'll be asked from time to time some direction from Mr. Alain. So Alain, you really have to guide me on this. I don't want to go beyond what the scope requires.
Okay, I'll do just that. I'll do just that.
Cool. I'm with you. Hello?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay, cool. So how do we go about this? Do I just start talking about career development? How do we? It's a live session, so there's
Okay,
really
so
no preparation and stuff like that that are really raw. So let's take it
okay,
the
so
way we have to.
basically we're talking about how to bootstrap like you're professional, for example, or you're already having a career. Because what I really love about this particular topic about you, like since you were not able to come up yesterday, I made mention of things already, like some four things that people needed to know, like knowing, like learning the skills itself, like the raw skills, like being able to learn
Yeah.
the skills, networking with people who are already professionals in the industry,
Yeah.
also learning the industry itself and the trends of the industry. And then the last thing I mentioned was preparing to work. A lot of people actually skills, but they don't prepare to work. Like they just feel like they're just going to stop that. But the reason I really love bringing you, or I wanted to bring you to this particular section to talk about this aspect of the topic, is because you are a successful digital marketer. I mean, like your track record is it's one of a kind in Cameroon, in Africa. And but from my last talk with you, my last conversation with you, I realized that, and you made mention of telling me that you're studying Python. You want to get into data science. I mean, if that is the clear example of what we call bootstrapping right there. So that is one of the reasons I brought you into this topic, to really tell us how, like, from your own personal experience, how were you able to jumpstart, like moving from a digital marketer into a field of data science? How did it all come about? Like, okay, I just want to know.
Okay. I would say I'll start with an analogy. You know,
Okay.
we humans are prone to change.
Yeah.
We change every now and then, and sometimes the thing about majority of people is they don't understand how they change. So when change is coming, when something is not normal like before, people tend to why is this thing not going the way it ought to go and stuff like that. But our natural tendencies is about change. We cannot live in the same environment constantly with no change and stuff like that. Life will get a lot boring and things will be very, very sad for everybody. So with that fundamental foundation, with that fundamental understanding, with like full consciousness, you begin to realize that for every step you take, for every endeavor you make, for everything you're doing, it's only but temporal. There's something better that's coming in front. And when better is there, there is better. When better is there, there is better. So it's always about finding and looking for that next thing that makes you feel even more passionate, even more conscious, even more closer to your goal. So it's a combination of all of these things that made me to like, oh, let me try this out. Let me give myself a challenge. I've been in the tech industry for a very long time, 6, 7 years. So I have a tendency of always finding myself doing this stuff. So why don't you just like take it a bit a bit deeper and look at it from an expertise point of view and go down that road and see how developers think, what makes them think, how computer science came about and stuff like that. And I did the needful. You human beings we don't like in as much as we are prone to change, but we don't like change. So especially change that does company, especially
Yeah.
change that requires you to go out of your comfort zone. And when you start feeling that, oh, this is going to make me feel uncomfortable and stuff like that, your mindset begin to reframe now some sort of negative about what you're about to undertake and maybe difficulty in understanding. So what I'm trying to explain before actually talking about what I'm supposed to talk about is about learning how to learn. So all of this is from a concept of to learn how to learn for you to be able to keep going forward. Because for the most successful people out there, they kept on learning, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. A successful say, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? You don't stand on the same spot trying to figure out stuff. So I made a program for myself. I started 2 hours a day. Like, I'm sure that every day I don't necessarily have to sit on my computer 2 hours in full. For 5 minutes in the morning, I read other stuff, do other things. I do 45 minutes in the afternoon or during the day. Then I do another 45 minutes or 1 hour just to clock 2 hours in 24 hours. So I started back in June, and it's been pretty amazing. Like, it's the most transformational learning process I've ever taken. I don't know if it's because I was always used to this background, or it is because I actually set a program for myself, or it is because I was really prepared for the change that's going to come. But all of this put together has pushed me to a point where I've taken CS50 class on Harvard, which is a free course for somebody who wants to start a computer science, because I had to go back to the basics to understand everything that I need to know before going to where I want to go to. So I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice between data science and blockchain. So when I look at it and stuff like that, I look at passion. What drives my passion? And anything that drives my passion has Africa inside. So when I started digging deep and deep and deep. I read the Bitcoin white paper. I read the Ethereum white paper, and I realized something inside the Bitcoin white paper. Nagamoto did not just wasn't creating Bitcoin for some sort of revolution. He was creating Bitcoin for the main purpose of helping people to be able to transfer money without the need of a bank. That was it. Now, other people came, they saw the idea, and they were taking it different places. Now, the aspect of someone transferring money without a need of a bank is first an African problem before anybody's problem. I don't know if you're with me. So that aspect made me to think that, hello? Hey, Alan? I don't know if anybody is getting what I'm saying. So as I was saying, and what was I? I was trying to say that we as people, we need to understand that change is very constant, and change can always help us to get to the better to the better side of ourselves at every given point in time if we understand the dynamics of how change work and what is required of us to get to always get to the next level of where we're going to. Because as human beings, we are insatiable, meaning that we don't get satisfied regardless of wherever we find ourselves. If trying to like plan a goal, you say you make a 5 year goal, and the moment you reach 5 years, the 5 year goal reaches and maybe you achieve everything, it doesn't mean that life stops there. You set another 5 year goal and you keep climbing the ladder. So so in a nutshell, that's what change is. So coming back to how I did it. So talking about blockchain, and I got really interested in blockchain in that aspect of somebody transferring money from one person to another without the need of a bank. Now, being in the African tech ecosystem, we have a huge fundamental problem, which is transfer of money from one place to another, and this has had a lot of impediment in a lot of projects, of big tech projects that could have seen the light of day, but unfortunately, that's not the case because of this problem of money moving from one place to another. Now, moving away from tech and going to the normal person who does not know anything about tech, blockchain can actually help them transform the way they do business. And they don't ever, will never ever necessarily go to a bank to be able to make a transaction for something to happen from your phone, even with a future phone, because a lot of people don't read the Bitcoin white paper. It is way deeper than the surface of what people think about. So there's also a means through which blockchain transactions can be done without internet connection. So it's really, really amazing. So since there is Africa in it, I'm not trying to say other technologies don't really have Africa in it, but blockchain, it's like that pivot, that convergence system that will leapfrog Africa's development. So that's how I got into blockchain. And fast forward 1 month, and I think I'm in it. Actually, it should be like 2 months now, and I've had quite an experience, quite an experience. I'm actually doing some internship, developing a smart contract for a company, which I will not mention the name. I tend and ask myself the question: how did I get to this level? How did all of this happen so fast? And why am I here? And maybe 4 months ago, I was not in this kind of place. And then some things keep coming into my mind. Sometimes people see you doing stuff and they feel that they judge what you're doing just from a surface view, just from a face view of what you're doing. They don't necessarily understand that it might have been years and years and years of sacrifice that got you to that level, that you get to a point where you touch something and it easily turns to gold. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time for that quick change to happen. But a lot of people just always focus on the quick change. Oh, I want to be like this guy. Oh, this guy did this in this short time. I think he can do it. Yeah, everybody can do stuff, but always look beyond what the speaker tells you about themselves. Always ask them a lot more questions, deeper perspectives of how they got to where they got to. Don't focus on just what they are telling you. Permit them, ask them questions that will push them to go further, deeper. So that's how I got into this amazing industry. That's how I feel really passionate. I want to change perspectives, want to grow the ecosystem, want to help more people to understand that, oh, we are in a continent where we have been lagging behind for so long, and this is our time. This is the last frontier for Africa to 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 take the bull by the horn and make some change for prosperity and forever. Yeah. So, Mr. Allen, if you have anything to say at this juncture, you could jump in and let's keep riding on. So at this juncture, if there are any questions, if there are any preoccupations based on you have to take a new career, based trying to bootstrap, based on you trying to figure out something about your work, your passion and stuff, I'm open. So I'm open for questions. I'm open for different opinions and stuff like that. So basically, Cameroon in itself is a country where you have to be a bit more than just a normal youth going up and down the street. You need to be resilient in your way of thinking. You need to be mentally capacitated in terms of how you go about your everyday challenges, because the country in itself was is not really fertile for young budding entrepreneurs. It's not a really fertile ground for you to be able to grow. There is really no there is really no formula. There's really no guiding principle. Like there's really no like how do I say, no balancing equation that puts you in a place where you can say, oh, I can go here. I can be helped in terms of me growing my business, in terms of me growing my mental capacity to be able to overcome my challenges. There's really, yeah, there are a couple of places here and there, but it's still like infancy stage. So you most of the work has to be done by you, the individual, wanting to overtake on a certain engagement, on a certain goal, on a certain objective. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of young people tend to depend a lot on the people. It's a good thing. Yeah, you can depend on somebody who you see as a role model, who you see as a mentor, and who you see as a leader. That's very okay. But now, sometimes the problem with that is dependence tends to create um, a tendency for you to always wait for approval, for you to always seek for permission, for you to always be in a place where you don't have that ability to make decisions on your own or to take steps on your own that will open more experiences for you, that will open you to more people and stuff like that. So, one thing about you as a young person growing that you need to definitely understand is the fact that you can do it by yourself. Let that mentor, Let the leader, let that person who you're trying to look up to come in as a plus, not as somebody where you depend on for advancement. Focus on yourself. Carry yourself there. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to ask questions that will make people feel inconvenient. Take your life into your hands and be the master of your destiny. This is going to change you tremendously in ways you yourself you cannot imagine. So the bottom line is, what do you want? How passionate are you? How determined? What are the deterministic factors that makes you think that this endeavor that I'm going to embark on is going to succeed because I want it to succeed? That is determination. So, how much of that determination burns in you for you to be able to serve alone? We live in a continent that needs us more than the way we need ourselves. So each time you take an engagement, each time you're on a project, each time you're trying to develop objectives and goals for yourself, you always have to keep that at the back of your mind. We are living in a continent where people around us need us more than we need ourselves. So you have an assignment, not just to fix yourself, but to fix the community of people behind you for things to be better tomorrow. And the responsibility of things being fixed is in you and I. It's in our hands. So that is why I always reiterate on the fact that in as much as you need a mentor, you need a leader, you need a role model, you always need to do a self-check. You always have to first carry yourself along. I see a lot of young people complaining, oh, I don't have a mentor. If I had a mentor, I could have gone to 5 years. Those are valid facts. Those are valid things. But those things can't stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. Even if you don't know how to set clear goals, set it anyway. Set something. Do something. Don't sit on arms and waiting for action to take part of it. You're trying to, you're not different from the slaves that were colonized, because if you sit back, you're not doing anything about the things that are happening around you, means that you're not different from our forefathers who were kidnapped as slaves. You get the point. So we need ourselves. But you as a young entrepreneur, you are somebody who is trying to take a change in career. Ask yourself these fundamental questions. Where am I going to? Why do I want this career? The worst thing you could ever do is to get into a career because you want to make money. Making money is it's a valid point, but it is secondary. The first two guiding principles of career change or career bootstrapping is who you are, who are you, where are you going to, and what are you passionate about. Those are the two deterministic factors for a career change, and that can help you bootstrap a career. So these deterministic factors are the building blocks, are the underlying infrastructure that helps you to push forward, no matter how challenging that task or the new things you're about to learn are going to be. But if you get there because of the money, because of the fame and all of that, those are you're going in for the wrong reasons. And sometimes career change doesn't take it doesn't take 2 years. It takes you maybe 2, 3, 4 years for you to really, really adapt and start calling yourself, start defining yourself by the new path you've taken. So there are a lot of things interconnected to this, that as a young person, you need to always really think about stuff from a critical perspective before actually making a decision from it. So that's a bit of it, talking about career, talking about your goals, your vision. Right now, it's really something that a lot of people want to do, but a lot of people feel that they have to do it because I'm going to get into this career, I'm going to make. Oh, I just saw some question. What will you say some methods to overcome the fear of failure? Wow, that's a really great question. That's an amazing question, bro. Collins, fear of failure affects even Bill Gates, it affects Elon Musk, it affects every human being. Like, it's a natural tendency. Now, the people who are high performers have found a way to be able to tone that voice of fear of failure down. Yeah. So, how do they do it? They do it with utmost conviction, coined with reality. Because why am I saying this? A lot of people say, oh, I'm very positive about what I'm going to do. Positivity is not reality. So sometimes when you set a goal, when you set an objective, or when you're about to embark on a journey, make it realistic. Because there are times that when you get hit by an obstacle, by a challenge, you will feel down, you will feel depressed, you will feel defeated, and all of that. But if that objective, if that endeavor was coined to reality, you will always find a way to keep going forward. So that's one way to be able to turn down the fear of failure. Secondly, the second thing that you have to do is you have to start with the end in mind. Starting with the end in mind means that if you're about to embark on a project or whatever, ask yourself the question, what if something goes wrong? Always have that mind check. What if something goes wrong? So you start mentally formulating defensive mechanism in your head of how you're going to overcome that obstacle if ever something goes wrong. Now, so a lot of people argue that thinking about thinking about negative while you're trying to embark on a journey is not good. Nah, but I'll tell you, it has always worked for me because it gives you that mental capacity of turning down surprises. You don't get surprised by something. You're always prepared that if something goes wrong, what am I going to do? What is the comeback strategy? How am I going to exit this without losing myself? One thing that makes a lot of people get super frustrated, stressed, is because when they set their mind on something, their mind is completely blocked and they focus to look at things only from one side. So now when something goes on the other side, which they were not expecting, it sets them into a complete depression, stress, and frustration. Nobody wants to be in that. So you always have to start with the end in mind. What if something goes wrong? Especially if you have responsibilities. So now the third thing is about you understanding who you are. Try to focus on things that make your self that boosts your self-esteem. You don't want to focus working on things that you're not passionate about, that does not bring out the best of you. Because If something does not bring out the best of you, there's a high tendency that you'll be afraid of that thing, and you will definitely increase your fear of failure. There is no human being that's all knowing, but there are certain necessary fundamentals that you need to understand to be able to carry yourself forward. So focus on things that you're passionate about, on things that if somebody wakes you up in the middle of the night and they ask you a few questions about it, you'll be able to jump quickly and say something about it without even thinking twice. So focus your mind, like narrow your focus, be laser focused on things that you're really, really passionate and excited about. It will really turn down your fear of faith, your fear of failure. So yeah, that's a bit of it. Any more questions? Any more questions? Questions? So, Mr. Allen, I'm waiting for your guidance and the next move, the next direction I'm going to take, because like I told you, this can go a really, really long way, and I just want us to be able to keep it really, really focused. Uh, oh, Collins, thank you very much for your kind attention. Your question was really great. If you're asking such a question, it means that you really are someone who wants to grow. You are you're looking for other ways to improve yourself, and that's what life is all about. It's all about improving yourself every single day. It's all about learning. It's all about learning and unlearning, learning and learning. So there are things you knew 3, 4, 5 years ago. Things are not relevant right now. So things you already know now, 2, 3 years from now, they will not be relevant. So always keep your mind on the next thing. What's the next thing? And always try to focus on studying things that are complicated, things that people don't like, but you feel that are going to be of huge impact tomorrow. Focus yourself and become expert on that, and you open so many doors of success for yourself. I'm always saying things that have really, really worked for me. So we live in a world where digitalization is no more something that we need to debate so much about. We have already seen the impact on so many different levels. We've already seen how people left from their garages and they became billionaires. I cannot overemphasize that. So take a challenge, keep pushing yourself forward, and always make sure that you give room for improvement. Because if you're not improving, you're not moving forward. And if you're not moving forward, you're you're not going to get where you want to get to. So it's that simple. Yes, sir. Lead me on, lead me on.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for answering that question. That was a really great job that you did there. But fear is something that I don't think somebody like has to really try. Like the question he posted, if something is not scary, like a businessman says that if there is no much risk, it means that the profit is not enormous. Like the more risk it is, like the more risky a business venture it is the more the return on investment. So if you're scared of the risk, like fear and all of that, like I think the issue with fear is because a lot of people want to always get it right the first time. you know like someone said that I'm ashamed of failing, Me,
Yeah.
what are you thinking? You're not a robot. It's not like you've been programmed with the source code to get this thing done, right? So it's the
Yeah.
first time you're getting to something, you need to give yourself that allowance that, okay, I may fall. Imagine the analogy of a child, like a little girl who is just starting to work, like walk. If the child takes the first two steps and falls down and decides, okay, because I fell, I'm not going to walk again. Think about what is going to happen.
That
So
child would never walk.
exactly. So you can really consider failure as a yardstick for you not to unback like to go on a journey. And I love like what you really made mention of. Like we talked about this. I talked about this a whole lot yesterday about career bootstrapping, where I made mention of the advantages and the disadvantages. You spoke about experimenting. When you're bootstrapping a career, it's all about experimenting. You're running
Exactly.
experiments. You're running experiments, and the experiments might not work at first. You might not really get it, but you keep experimenting until you get the right solution or the right dosage of that particular stuff that you want.
Yep. Yep. So just to add, just to add,
Family pressures, like okay, family members, parents, and all of that. How about that?
yeah. Come again. I didn't get that clearly.
Now, okay. The question goes like this: how do we deal with bootstrapping or moving into a new career path that might be sustainable, but really doesn't tie with our family goals or our conventional career that our parents understand? So, how do we deal with that, or how do we deal with such things?
Now, if you're doing something and seeking for approval, it means you're giving yourself limited chances to be able to move forward. So it's not advisable for you to take a decision based on the clear facts and figures, and just because somebody around you does not understand makes you to stop, or makes you to turn down or slow down, or do whatever that would not push you forward. So it's even not a question that should be on the table. If you decide on something, you have to go all in. So there was this book that I read by Nassim Taleb. It's quite dry. So there's an analogy in the book that says like that goes like this: the three kinds of people in the world. First is the kind of person who, when they're in front of a challenge, they get like, oh, why me? Oh, if I did not start this thing, maybe I could not have this challenge or whatever like that. The second person is the person that looks at the challenge and say, wow, this is a real tough challenge. I recognize the challenge. I'm not going to feel defeated by it, but they sit back and fold their hands. They really know that's the challenge. They really know that's something they have to overcome. But they, by some way, somehow, they don't have the capacity to be able to overcome it. Now, there's a third person. The person is anti-fragile. Now, this person is that kind of person that the more challenge they get, the more better they get. So they don't get better if there's nothing challenging. I think that's something everybody had to inculcate. And I read that book sometime back in 2020, and it is really perspective of how I look at challenges. Each time there's a challenge for me, I know there's something better. So I instead go all in. You give it all. And sometimes people, what that is, when you say each time there's a challenge, you know there's something better. Something better doesn't always mean that you have the fruit of that labor there and there. Something better can come few months after, it can come few weeks after, few hours. Is not always immediate. like you just said, what causes a lot of failure is because people are expecting quick results. People are expecting to do a plug and play kind of game when trying to set goals and objectives. It doesn't really work like that. There are people you might have met and spoken with, and you feel like, wow, this conversation with this person just went the way it went, and nothing happened. And 2 years later, somehow, some way, somehow, the person you spoke to connects you to somebody that changes your life. So it's not always doesn't always have to go the way we expect. Life is what it is. And if you focus yourself on trying to change external things for you to feel all right, I'm going to blatantly tell you, depression is not very far from you. The only, the person that can change you, it is you. The only person that can change the world, it is you. And that change starts inside of you. If you're okay inside, you can be okay without outside. There is no enemy within outside without an enemy inside. So when you think about these fundamental things of life, it pushes me now to tell young people that for every action you take, consciously or unconsciously, you're 98% responsible. 2% is for everything external. So your consciousness level about every action that you for the betterment or for you to reach your goal or whatever, that anything that's pushing you forward, for everything you're entirely responsible. Not the government, not the country, not Africa, not your internet, not your laptop, not your telephone, not the fact that you don't wear good dresses, not the fact that your teacher is not teaching well, not all of that. If anything ever goes wrong with your life, you are entirely responsible. And the moment a lot of young people begin to start thinking like this, a lot of things will start going right for us. Desperation will go out. The higher level of desperation that increases stress and depression will really, really go down. Because the moment you start taking responsibilities of your life, you become more patient. You become more tolerant to others. You become more open-minded. You become more industrious. And you become a vessel for change. Do you know what a vessel for change means to other people that are looking up to you? I mean, you're changing a community one step at a time. But we are always going to emphasize this because people look at it as a rocky road to take. Like they say, whoa, I can't even try to do that because I'm not going to succeed. It's too hard for me. It's everything negative. It's everything challenging. I cannot do it. But that is the road that you need to take. Take responsibilities of your action and see how things will start changing for you. And take every failure as a stepping stone. That stepping stone that pushes you to that next level that you want to get. As hard as the failure will be, that's how good the reward is going to come. Failure is pushing you to success at every step of the way. It just depends on where you look. It's just a slight change of mindset that makes you look at failure as an opportunity to exploit, to keep going forward. Yeah. So, guys, if there are more questions, I want you guys to ask me questions. Ask me questions on things concerning your business, your career advancement. Ask me questions. I'm here for that. I'm here to help. I actually created time today just for this, to be able to give back a lot of the things I've been learning. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're back.
Yeah. Now we are already at the top of an hour. We have 10 more minutes to close. So this at this last point, what I want you to mostly do is I want you to encourage someone, particularly today. You know, we understand that we live in Africa. You know, there are just some, like you made mention of, families should get. I want you to, like, okay, encourage someone today. Like, hey, tell them, let them know that there is someone out that also did this, and they didn't perish. You know, they took these decisions and they didn't die, they didn't perish, and all of that. So I just want you to just be personal right now and encourage someone directly.
Um, Encouraging someone is something really good. I just hope everybody who is on this under the sound of my voice actually feel every word I'm about to say. Life is unfair. That's a fact. Nobody is going to treat you fairly. People are selfish. That's a fact. It's not something that has to worry you to a point where it makes you incapacitated of pushing your life forward. There are a lot of things you want that to there are a lot of things you want to for that should happen to you. Good things, positive things that you want to come your way, but they seem to be going further away from you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you're not smart. It doesn't mean that you're stupid or something. No. Sometimes it just means that you're not ready. Sometimes it just means that you're not come to that full consciousness, that full maturity of the fact that you really want this thing. So anything that happens, regardless of whether negative, especially negative, don't curse yourself. Don't, you cannot do better than that. You have to be critical to yourself, but you cannot kill yourself because people say, oh, I could not do this thing because, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I'm dumb, and stuff like that. Taking responsibilities of your action doesn't mean that you should insult yourself. You should push yourself to the level where you become your own personal virus. Taking responsibilities of your actions simply means that something goes wrong. You say, hey, what did I do? You try to think back. What did I do leading to this current situation that is negative? Then you start dotting the I's and the T's going backwards and make sure that the next action you're trying to fix it. I've been there. I've been there. Life is quite hard. I'm moving up to the ladder. I'm not yet there. I'm very young and all of us are pushing to make things better financially, economically, spiritually for everyone else, for ourselves and for everyone else. So don't give up. Think about the lives you're going to change if you keep going on this journey. Look for a means to always clap for yourself, even no one is clapping for you. This journey is not for the faint hearted. This journey, sometimes it feels so lonely. that you might want to give up, but you always have to keep going, not for the faint-hearted. This journey is that kind of journey that today everything's going right, tomorrow everything goes sour, tomorrow that's it. But there will become a point where everything will be stable and life will keep going forward. So think of yourself as a butterfly that's going through transformation. You remove you become an egg. From an egg you become what to say what's
Lava.
that thing, a lava. From a lava you become something else before
Cocoon,
you start flying.
cocoon.
Exactly. So that is what life is all about. It's a stage by stage. And when somebody speaks to you about their life, don't focus on the surface value of what they are telling you. Because most people who speak tend to always just say the cool and nice part of how they got to where they got to. But yeah, trust me, there are lots and lots of things that you will not want to hear. So for every person under the sound of my voice, keep track of the small successes you make every day. Keep track of the small recordings of the journeys you're taking towards achieving your goal. And one day, sooner or later, it's going to happen for you, like it has happened for everybody, like it has happened for me. We came from modest backgrounds. We do not have all of what we have today. We're pushing forward. We're doing try and error, experimenting, and keep going. And challenges are always going to be part of this journey. So for every time there's a challenge, you should say, thank God, how do I overcome this? How do I become better? And think a lot of things will be going right for you. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow, 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 wow. This is an electrifying session. Like I said, all the speakers for this particular webinar event, they are carefully selected because they have a lot to tell you, not because they have this cool background. It's going to help you out.
Oh, Mr. Allen got cut off. So I think the guys, since Allen's connection is not really stable, well, I've covered a lot today. I hope to talk again soon. And like I said, pruning on your goals, keep going forward no matter what. Focus, focus, focus. Thank you guys so much. I have another engagement I'm about to take at this point. See you guys later. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao, ciao.